In your wildest dreams, did you ever expect this?
No, not at all.
Are you kidding me? Pinch me now. I think I'm living a dream. It's crazy.
I still can't believe we're here. You know, I go through the day and I look up sometimes and go, wow, what is this? It's been that way ever since we started building it. It was almost like we were building it for somebody else, and I'd have to just shake myself and say, hey, this is for our dogs. We never, ever, ever believed this would happen, that it would get this big. So. We were talking about moving, and we said we should have a parade to move the dogs. And it stuck. Isn't it awesome? Cute little floats and everything. I know. Yeah, this is gonna be good.
Yeah! Well done.
All right, thank you all so much for joining us today for the Senior Dog Parade. My megaphone is on the way, but for now I'm just gonna yell. So we have about 60 dogs who are gonna be moving during the parade. We have more volunteers than we do dogs, which is awesome. So what we're going to do is everyone is going to go to their assigned float. We are going to call each float up one by one. That's when you will come up. And then we are going to start bringing your dogs out to you. And then staff are going to help you place your dog into either a shopping cart, a stroller, or a wagon. I really wish I had my megaphone. Once we get to the pavilion, you all will take your dogs into the building. Staff will show you which rooms they're going in. Okay.
Too late. I told you. Come on, let's hear you. They can't hear you. Hello.
Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty much it.
Nice.
All right, we are about to get started. We've got Sally. This is Sally. Sally's going to go around. This is Dino. Dino's going to go in a shopping cart. Okay.
Like, yeah, we're going to be taking 100 of our dogs from point A to point B, and we want to do it in a parade form.
All of Gemini? Yes.
Okay.
Brandy's going to be in a shopping cart.
Looking good.
With our new location being less than a mile from our old location, it made sense. Why not make a huge event out of it?
Hi. Hi. What do you want?
We provide lifetime homes for senior dogs, either at our sanctuary or in forever foster homes. And we make sure that they never end up in a shelter for the rest of their lives and are always in a good place.
I know, I love you. The whole thing started one day when Zina said to me, why don't you go out and do something with yourself rather than sitting there watching soap operas? So I said, okay. I said, I love dogs. And she said, well, they need dog transports, and I've got just the place, Middle Tennessee Golden Retriever.
The first dog we fostered for them was an ancient Golden Pyrenees mix, and he only lived for 2 weeks. We got him because nobody else was willing to give him a chance. We decided to take him on, and again, he didn't live very long, but we saw that need. So we said, okay, we'll take the next senior dog that comes along that really needs a home, and that was Lucy Lou. So Lucy Lou, who we consider a co-founder now as well, because she showed us the way with senior dogs.
Zina started thinking, I think we can run our own rescue. And I said, really, seriously, let's think about it. Well, overnight, she came up with Old Friend Senior Dog Sanctuary. And so we were off and running. She said 2 things. What we'll do is we will post pictures of old dogs on Facebook. And I just said, you've got to be kidding me. It's not going to work. Completely wrong. And then also she said, the other thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to pay for the medical for all the dogs we bring in. And I said, how are you going to do that? These are old dogs. They cost a lot of money. And if there's an emergency, it can be $5,000. She was like, what do you mean? That's nothing. We're going to have the money. It went from basically 0 to 90 miles an hour in a matter of 2 months. Likes started rolling in, and we started getting calls on, oh, we understand you take old dogs. We have a lead on a dog. And I was like, wow, this is really starting to take off. And at the time, we had 18 dogs. I was like, well, okay, we got some more room. So I started building gates and things of that nature, because that was the only place these dogs could go, was our house. One of our first big experiences with expansion was we were sitting in the backyard and we found out our neighbor's home was for sale. I found out first and I said, Z, did you know that Jay's selling the house? And she went, get it. And I went, what do you mean get it? We don't have money to buy a house. We didn't. At that point, if we got $10,000 in, we were in heaven. It was like, oh my God, what we can do with this for the dogs. Before we paid a dime, we had our first biggest donation come in and we paid for it in cash.
Okay, today we're moving all of our dogs over to the Grandpa's Gardens, which is our new sanctuary. We want to do it all in one day.
And from there on, forget it. Seriously, roller coaster ride. Up and down.
Last week was our 4th birthday in the gardens. It's when old friends moved from Michael and Zina's house to where we are currently. So today, we're doing a surprise birthday party for Michael and Zina. We want you to be a part of it.
When we started out, it was in our house. We thought that's where it would always be. When we got the cabin next door, we thought this is where it'll always be. When we moved into the gardens, we thought that was a forever move, and it was only 18 months after we moved in that we were looking to go into a more specific senior dog facility. We learned a lot of things that we needed that would be better, and we started thinking about moving again. It just sort of happened. We've kind of followed the path. It's led us, we haven't led it.
I think it's hard for people to understand that started out maybe here, even at the old building, of how, I mean, it was literally in their house. I'm one of the few people that have been along with Zina and Michael's ride from the beginning. I think she said I might have been like the 10th foster home. Now there's like 400. I just found them on Facebook, and Michael called me, and then they drove the dog to my house. To see the progression from them to go from their house to the garden building to here, it's pretty awesome to be a part of it.
We have been able to do this just through the generosity of our donors. The majority of our donations come from fundraisers that people set up on Facebook.
And it's funny because a lot of people just sort of like say, there's no way they built this thing on Facebook. Well, guess what? There is a way.
What people do is they'll be prompted by Facebook when their birthday's coming up, and Facebook will say, it's your birthday, do you want to run a fundraiser for a nonprofit organization? They simply put it on their page and say, I'm raising money for Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary. They explain our mission, and their friends pitch in and donate to the cause. So we get a lot of donations that way, but the average donation is only about $25. So we have a lot of people supporting us, and it really shows how important each donation is.
Building this place took over a year, literally 24/7. I was on this all the time.
It's hard for me to wrap my brain around that this building was possible because of donations.
Can I ask what this place cost?
Over $5 million. It came from those $25 average donations.
And that's, to this day, what built this place. You're talking major money. Just to give you an example, in one 2-week period, we got $600,000. And that month was over $1 million in 1 month.
It just really amazes us that so many people would be interested in our cause.
There are so many dogs that are surrendered to shelters as seniors, and as heartbreaking as that is, Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary make everything okay again for those seniors.
They help senior dogs live the best life that they possibly can until it's time for them to go.
They rescue senior dogs that usually have been dumped at like a local shelter at 15 or 16 years old. Those dogs are probably very likely that they're going to be euthanized. Old Friends goes and scoops them up from these shelters.
And then what Old Friends does is to make them feel comfortable and at home.
It's a place that we accept them no matter what their disabilities are, no matter what their care requires.
And Old Friends will do whatever it takes to get these dogs fixed up.
I started at Old Friends about 3 years ago. I moved here from Connecticut. I'd never been to Tennessee before, and it was kind of like a leap of faith. I met Zina and learned about this organization and believed in the cause. It's my dream job. Here, I feel like I'm making such a big difference for the dogs that, don't have anybody to do that for them. I'm on call 24/7, and I like it that way, I'm so invested in these dogs that when something happens to them, if it was my day off and nobody told me that somebody was seizuring or this was happening, I would have a breakdown. So yeah, they're my kiddos, so I want to know what's going on with them.
Is it just one dog we're picking up?
It's one dog. I don't know anything about it until I go to pick it up. The times I've picked up the small ones, they've always ridden in my lap back with me, and it's just I feel like we have this little bond because I'm like the first person that they meet coming in, and they're my little babies. I can't hold the big ones, unfortunately, but they're like my little babies when I bring them in.
Oh my goodness! Hi!
Oh, okay.
I know, Sarah has on.
Hi, I think his name's Curly.
I would.
Hi.
Given that it's like a peak mix, Dr. Pascaric will immediately fall in love and name her. So it doesn't matter what I name her. She's going to name her something else. Pekingese, she's all over that.
Let's go. We're gonna go to your new home.
Huh? What do you think? I would call you Sweet Pea, but Christine will probably name you something completely different. It's a new baby. I want to call her Sweet Pea. Look at that. You kind of match the bed. Here you go. What you think? You like that? That comfy? Yeah. I'll get you some water. You'll be all set, okay? These cute little Pekingese. I know Christine's gonna fall in love with.
Oh, it's a Pekingese.
It's a mix. I know. Uh-oh. She doesn't have a name, and she's 12, and she's mad and severe dental disease. But once she gets
just what Christine loves.
exactly. Little blonde right there.
Oh, I see.
You see her? It's a
Oh,
little girl.
Oh, look at that face.
I
Oh my
know.
gosh. Has Christine seen her yet?
Oh, around. I know.
Oh, she's
And
gonna
she's
go
got hip
nuts.
problems too.
Oh my god, she's gonna go
Oh,
nuts.
Christine. Come see Sweet Pea. I named her Sweet Pea. She's 6 pounds. It's all up your alley. No, sir.
Oh my Lord in heaven.
Oh, she's a little scared.
Oh,
But
you got
she's super
busted.
sweet. I named her Sweet Pea.
Oh, hi. You got some knots on your toe-toes.
She's got gnats everywhere.
Hi. Aren't you the most beautiful thing in the world?
She did.
Oh, and your
We knew it. We knew it was gonna happen.
I knew it.
Oh, my goodness. Hi, Judy. Oh, you blowing your snots on me. Hi. Oh, my goodness. New medical dog? Oh, boy. This is really bad.
Yeah, I know.
That's really bad. I love her.
I know you do. I knew you would.
Now we're not any more work out of this woman for the rest of the day.
That's it. Focus is on her.
Oh, my gosh. He's super cute.
He's very sweet.
All right. Yes. Sorry. I got distracted.
Easily distracted by dogs. All right, so you want me to give Halo a bath now?
I think with a lot of mainstream veterinary clinics, if they're 13 or they're 14, they'll say, well, you know, if they were 6 years old, you might want to do this surgery. But at 14, you know, maybe just put them on some steroids or something. You know, that's not how we work here. It's if they have a good quality of life and they're happy and this could help them, who cares if they're 14? And those 14-year-olds go on to be 17 or 18 or 20 here. And that's almost unheard of out in the general population. And I think finances are a concern. You know, at 14 years old, is it going to be worth it to spend the money and then maybe have them die in 6 months? But at 14 years old, 6 months it is a lot. And if that's going to be a quality 6 months, we're all for it, you know? The shelter that reached out to us basically said, you are our last chance with this dog. When he went into that shelter, in addition to his medical issues, he was very food aggressive. I think he had been starving and he was biting people because of the food aggression. I mean, he came in here so bad that I actually was like, where is his quality of life? You know, like, should we even be bothering to try and help him? Because, you know, euthanasia might be kinder, but Hugh, I still worry about. He's still going through his diagnostic phase right now, so we're waiting on biopsy results and culture results to see how we can address that. When we go to, you know, take something maybe on an emergency to one of the local specialists or something, they'll say, you know, you might want to consider euthanasia. And I'll say, I want to give this 24 hours. If they're stable and they're not in pain and they're not suffering, I want to give this 24 hours because it is amazing
what these dogs can recuperate from.
I can't tell you how many dogs in the past 2 years, if she wouldn't have said, give it 24 hours, wouldn't be with us today.
From what I've seen in the past with how we've turned some of these dogs around, I have absolute faith that we can help you. Yes, I do.
When we get these guys in, a lot of them require specialty treatment that a lot of people can't afford.
I think that's what the local animal control and the local shelters have associated us with. You know, if we don't take those dogs are going to be euthanized. There are very few rescues that can afford the medical care that the Sweet Peas and the Hughes need. And so now that they have us as a resource, when those dogs come in that they used to not even consider for placement anywhere, we're the first ones they call.
You're so sweet. So I just got a sweater on this morning. Look at you. She was found running down Hartsville Pike, and they've posted and no one's claimed her. So.
And how much do you guys work with old friends?
A lot. Zina has, I if I get old dogs, I continuously call Zina, and she's been great. Yeah, it's helped us a lot.
Thank you. She's so cute.
This is Marla. She also was found running as a stray, and nobody ever came for her. But these are her favorite toys that have to go with her. And her jacket. She gets cold, so she needs it.
She's so sweet. When you take her out to introduce her to people, she gets like all excited and she hops around and she gives them kisses and her tail wags. She's just darling. She really is. She deserves a good home. All right.
Oh, look at this. How big. Here's your toys for travel. All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Nice to meet
It's
all.
just frustrating when we have dogs being turned over because they're not as active anymore or they're not as playful anymore. You know, it's a stage of life, and every stage, I think, needs to be celebrated. And there's a lot that can be done rather than giving up on them.
It's awesome that we're helping them, but when you see that somebody has dumped a 16-year-old dog, it makes me angry.
I mean, it's like dumping your grandma, when you're older. You just don't do that kind of stuff.
It's disgraceful. And I mean, most of the reasons that they're being turned over are fixable. You know, that's the really sad thing. So don't neglect them and ignore all of the care that they need and then just dump them. You know, if they're provided for all along the way, then you'll have a healthy, happy senior dog.
One eye open.
Hi,
sweetheart. How are you? I gotta wait for Taylor to come in.
I don't know if there's many people other than Dr. Bechard who would be as great with senior dogs as she is. She's just amazing.
She's really taken it on as a challenge.
No, she is amazing. We're so lucky to have her. She loves the dogs, which that's something that you can't train somebody. She just loves them.
It's lots of fun when you come here.
I want to tell you how much I appreciate your care for Hawkins. I can't even say her name. I loved her more than any dog I've ever had, and I've had a lot. But thank you.
Yeah, she was precious.
She changed my life. I'm telling you, I don't know why, but she just did. Caring for her.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. Well, I wish you had her longer. I wish
I
we
know
had
it. Me
all of
too.
them longer.
She was wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Old Friends is, well, it's heaven on earth. Just because it's a place full of dogs and full of love.
It is the most amazing organization I have ever heard of.
I think it's just the most wonderful thing since sliced bread myself.
Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary, love what they stand for, love what they do, and just have always thought about being a part of it.
It's the most wonderful thing that I can think of for a dog, because dogs are just like children, really.
And they need care and they need love.
There's a need for these babies to spend their golden years being loved and have a forever loving home.
It must be very traumatic to lose your owner and you don't know what's going on.
We don't know what their circumstances are a lot of the times, why they ended up at the sanctuary, how they ended up there.
It's nice to kind of see them like get like a second chance, so to speak.
Old Friends, I think, has opened up doors for not only dogs, but for people to care for them.
Senior dogs have become like the throwaway of dogs because they're older, they're more expensive, and the fact that Old Friends covers that expense, there's really not a reason why you would not foster a senior dog.
I mean, what they're doing is it's unbelievable. Just the way they've touched people across the world, not just here in Nashville. Just started with the few, and now it's just grown into what it's grown into. And I was watching the parade, and people from like New Zealand and Ireland were chiming in and saying, we're gonna come visit one day. You know, it's just pretty incredible.
Here we go.
So when you first got him, you weren't able to probably, I'm assuming, put like a collar around him, right?
No.
Because of his skin?
He's on steroids, which is what's helping to clear up his skin. He probably has an autoimmune disease. And the steroids have helped a huge amount, but steroids slow down healing. So we were going to get him scheduled for surgery. We're gonna have to put that on hold for now until we get him back on track again. When he first came in, he wouldn't let me do that. He gets a little bit upset, you know, when you get on these sides, but he's come a long way.
Dr. Pescara does amazing things with the dog. She's brought in dogs like Hugh. Now, you know, Hugh right now looks awful, but she's brought in dogs that are just as terrible, that have turned into some pretty fantastic dogs.
she'll try to give it as much time as she possibly can until it becomes obvious to her that that dog is, it's time for that dog to go.
When I put him under anesthesia to clean off all of his scabs, one of my technicians was actually crying while we were doing it, and she said, you know, I really think we should euthanize this dog. And that's what I told her. I said, you know, he hasn't given up, and I'm not giving up on him yet until he tells me it's time, and until we've tried these medications. He's ultimately going to end up losing that left ear altogether. They're going to have to remove the ear canal. He's getting there. Slow and steady, but he's getting there.
I worked with Dr. Christine in Connecticut 5 years ago. She is the best doctor that I've ever worked with. She found this place and just the stars aligned and everything happened, and she came here and this was her dream job, and she said, you have to come work with me. And I said, okay, eventually, because I was in Connecticut, she's in Tennessee, and constantly come work with me. And finally, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it. So I moved 1,000 miles to work with Doc, and I love my job, and she's part of the reason why I love my job.
I'm a princess. I'm a princess. You smiling?
So little Sweet Pea has had her surgery postponed a bit, but she had her spay, and now she's got to get her legs fixed because she has luxating patellas, so it's really hard for her to walk on her back end. He loves her. She wasn't feeling so well, and she was at the ER a week or so ago, and he was just beside himself. That's your girl. Are you gonna walk or what? Come here.
We've got vets who are dedicated to senior dogs, know more about senior dogs than anybody else. So we have probably one of the best senior dog veterinary clinics anywhere.
The medical area has improved 100-fold. We were in a space that was the size of a regular office. We couldn't perform any surgeries. It wasn't sanitary enough. So everything we would have to resource out.
In the previous building, I had 2 small rooms and absolutely no diagnostic capabilities. So I didn't have x-ray. I also didn't have a surgical suite. So I was, evaluating them, seeing what they needed, and then utilizing either local veterinarians or specialists if needed. Some of these round trips were taking 2.5, 3 hours just to get the care that they needed.
She's in these 2 small rooms. She's trying to do dental. She's trying to do all this. We need to get her a vet clinic. That was the beginning. Then we had a few problems with the building, like the back foundation started to leak a little bit. The floors weren't any good. So then the wheels started turning, and Zina and I said, we really should start looking at building something from ground up.
The fact that the entire area of the old building is the same size as our medical facility at the new building is huge.
This just revolutionizes everything for me. I can practice full medicine here, which I couldn't do before.
We have enough room now for having 2 vets. So she's like a kid in the candy store. She loves it.
It's way better than I ever dreamed, yeah.
We have special needs here. What we had problem with the gardens is the fact that primary for the dog's care is their living areas. That has to be special. We take on our dogs for life, no matter what their temperament. So some of them do have a problem living in a group. So we had to build little containment areas for these dogs at the gardens. And it was really, really a Rube Goldberg type of stuff. I'd have a contractor in, put some cinder blocks in. And so we knew we needed to have suites for individual dogs that preferred to live alone. So we called it Barclay Suites, but everybody has their own yard, and then they have access to a much larger yard so they can really get some exercise. We put in all canine turf, specially made for dogs. They're loving it. They're rolling in it. They're scratching in it. The canine turf folks also had a side company that put in splash pads. So it's a doggy splash pad, and we call it the Oasis. And so since we've been here, I think 2 of them have actually approached it because they're afraid of it right now. So we're gonna have a learning curve with that. And then we have our group areas, which a lot of dogs prefer, obviously, because they're pack animals. We have 2 rooms for little dogs, 1 room for medium size, and then 2 really large ones for our big guys. We've only been here less than a week, and they're loving it. Another major thing we wanted to do is try to get away from mud. Our old building did not make it easier. Mopping constantly, mud constantly, cleaning dogs constantly didn't work. I mean, we made it work, but for 4 years it was like, with 100+ dogs, it's a fight that you don't need to have because you need to be focusing in on the dogs. So we thought about cleanliness everywhere. So that's when we came up with, okay, let's go find an internal cleaning system.
Oh man, everything's so clean now. We used to have a lot of trouble with the floors because the floors were not sealed well. They looked great when we moved in. But from cleaning and cleaning and cleaning, they got worn away pretty bad to where they were almost just concrete. So having the epoxy resin floors that nothing can penetrate and the drains, and we have a spray system so that we can keep everything clean. We're not mopping, so we're not just slopping the same dirty water over and over again. It's amazing how clean we can keep things.
What used to take them probably an hour and a half now takes about 15 minutes. The other big thing we wanted was windows everywhere. And the reason for that is you walk through a hallway and you look down and there's a dog in their yards. We want everybody to have viewing for dogs and have an interactive type of thing. We have 3 people that are going to do tours constantly through here. Then we'll have a lot of special events. It's just gonna allow us to do a whole bunch more. So back to the actual building, it just sort of piecemeal together, and it grew and grew and grew until our architect said, "You guys, it just keeps growing every day. I mean, can you afford it?" And we went, "Yeah."
I'm a builder. I like to build things. I like to see them grow. That's one thing I've loved about being part of something I love to begin with, but something that has no bounds because it's never really been done before. The sky's the limit. We don't have anything holding us back,
So that's how we ended up with 20,000 square feet. Countdown. We're open for business.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Zina Gooden, co-founder and executive director of Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary. Thank you so much for coming today.
Got a few people to thank. Only the ones that are here, though. Just kidding.
Zina and Michael have always been focused first and foremost on the dogs. Everything else seems to fall into place with that philosophy.
Thanks to a fabulous group of supporters and donors, we have been able to build a nearly 2,000.
They liked it, Z.
Okay. We've been able to build this dream home for senior dogs here at the Pavilions, a state-of-the-art facility built specifically for our old friends.
It's just amazing. We can't believe it. couldn't imagine the success that we've had saving literally thousands of dogs.
There is no other organization in the world with the vision and mission of Old Friends. I think I speak for the entire staff when I say it has been amazing to be a part of this journey.
So thank you very much.
The parade was, I think, a once-in-a-lifetime event.
It was a great way to bring the dogs to the new sanctuary without them burning their feet or having to do that walk in the heat. I think the dogs actually fared better than some of the people did. That was a long 8/10 of a mile to push a grocery cart with a dog in it. What a great way to move from A to B.
Welcome home, baby girl. Good job, guys. Okay, cool.
Good job, baby.
Go over to the big storage unit. There are a ton of water bowls in there. You know where that is? Just hold Alexis here until you get everybody in. Come in. They're in Sydney's room. Oh, with the goodies! She is hot girl. Very hot. Yes, put her in a crate. No worries.
Probably not long.
Iggy is in here. Go ahead and get him in a crate. Hello, Shasta is also in here. She can go right into a crate.
They keep water everywhere, so I'm not really, you can give it to her.
Oh, Brent. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Go right on that corner.
I'm Debbie Sanford, the photographer for Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary. I was going through the airport one day and they had this mosaic dog behind a case along with 10 others. And it happened to be a fundraiser that they had done. And the one that has the camera around its neck, I was like, oh my God, I have to have that. So I saw this, sign and to see what is Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary. I sent an email to sign up for one of their tours. And come to find out, I was the first tour that they had ever offered, and Zina gave it. And I think it's probably the only one she's ever given.
So I gave her the tour, and there was something about Debbie that just clicked. I knew when we first met Debbie that Debbie would be good to take pictures of our dogs.
Perfect.
Yeah, and she's been taking them ever since that first day.
She contacted me and she said, we have a good feeling about you, come on in. I told her I wanted to do a gallery show to raise some money for them. In 3 hours, I think we raised close to $5,000 for them. I was hooked. Another thing that's really great about that is when I went back to the airport the next day, the dogs were gone. And then when I went for my tour and walked in up high on a shelf in the old building, that dog was in there, and whoever had bid on it originally never came for it. And so it was like one of those, oh my gosh, I so meant to be here moments. So I bought it.
When we first moved to Grandpa's Gardens in 2017, I think we had 2 full-time employees other than us. Most of them are full-time now, if not at least 75% of our 60 employees are full-time.
Okay, well, follow me. We pretty much doubled our staff when we moved to this building. So this is a break room. We named it after Leo, and if you follow us on Facebook or Instagram, you should know who Leo is. He was the dog that just caught everybody's eye. He was found in an alley behind a hair salon in Nashville, and he just became the face that everybody loved. He passed away a couple years ago, and I still have people on tours that come in and ask, you know, I miss Leo. He has sold over 30,000 t-shirts. He has 3 t-shirts with his face on them, over 30,000 t-shirts. When he died, several of our vendors sent flowers. He was He was a character. I've been here from the beginning. Zina and Michael were still with Middle Tennessee Golden Retriever Rescue. They were just starting to collect dogs in their house, but we became friends, and I've just been doing whatever I can along the way to help. When we moved to Grandpa's Gardens, things just literally blew up. I mean, everything just grew, I think, faster than anyone could have anticipated.
It was very difficult to build our staff before we moved here because there was nowhere to put them. We were trying to train them, but they were tripping over each other in the smaller building. So now that they're spread out, it's going to be easier to add more people. We've got a lot of people who are younger than us that will be able to pick up right where we leave off. And they're learning everything we know and adding to that.
We are the ones who are hands-on all the times with the dogs. We feed them, we walk them, we do their day-to-day care. We are the people who alert medical if there's a slight change in their behavior, and, you know, we advocate for them, so.
When you say shelter, or in our case, we're a sanctuary, but a shelter, I think people just sort of envision dogs in cages just sort of languishing there until somebody adopts them. This is so not like that. You know, they run around free unless they're eating or sleeping. You know, they've got the splash pad. They get laser therapy. Anytime Ellie has anything small, and I tell the vet team they're back there checking on her. It's great. I mean, I would love to live here if I was a dog. Even as a human, I would probably want to live here. I was unaware of how much these dogs are valued, and they're not just dog number 375 to us. They all are so loved. And what's amazing to me too is the dog caretakers. I just sort of pictured they come in the morning and they're assigned to whatever room. These dogs have the same caretakers, and the caretakers are so attached to them.
The goal is to keep them in the same room until they're forever fostered. So that way they have the same people, the same dog friends, everything. So it's more like a family-based setting for them.
We have 11 big dogs in our room. Most of the day, we just hang out with our 11 dogs, walk them every day, feed them. If any dog needs any medicine, we administer that as well.
How much food do you go through?
A lot.
I think it's about 200 pounds of food a day. That's what it was at one point. And that's just the dry food. We also feed wet food and other types of food.
We feed at 9 and 5. So our feeding time is an hour and a half to 2 hours of organized chaos. This is the cabinet where the meds are. We pull them from the vet clinic. So not only does Jen have to put the right food in the bowl, but then after she gets all the food, she has to get the medication. Each dog has its own bowl. Those whiteboards there, each of the vertical columns is a different dog area.
You might make a bowl, and then they're like, I don't want that today. So you have to make them another bowl. They're old, let them have what they want.
I'm just gonna park this over here.
We have to get our dinner.
I mean, it's so cool to come to work, and my first day, I set up my desk, I walked away for a second, I came back, and there was a dog standing on my desk. I mean, it's like a dream job.
So we do most definitely build a bond and a connection with these dogs for sure. I feel like at other places, when they see a dog, they're just like, oh, it's just a dog. And I think here, when we see the dogs, we're like, that's family, like that's our dogs.
For me, it just feels like the dogs are at the forefront of our minds, as opposed to our rules being at the forefront of our minds, you know what I mean? It's not worried about like cold structure as it is about, okay, I know exactly where Baby is, I know exactly where Charlie is, I know exactly where Woody is. That's the difference. It's like you have a team that wants to get these dogs better and happy. It's like really nice.
And now with this setup, it's so much easier to get around and see the dogs. We don't upset them every time we go to see them. We can watch them through the windows, and we don't have to go through all the dogs to get to a single dog.
I've been working here for almost 3 years, so me being used to the old building and then coming over here is like a complete game changer. But over here, it has helped the dogs tremendously. The other building was so open and loud that it just upset our dogs. And now that we're here, they have their own rooms and we can play music. And they are just the happiest here.
The dogs are so much happier because they get to, you can just tell they have their own space. Obviously, they have desks to stand on. And so, yeah. Her food gets matted down because she has no teeth. So I'm just kind of like fluffing it back up.
I'm in it for the dogs. My joy in my association with Old Friends comes from interaction with the dogs, the people that I've met along the way, especially people that I meet on the tours. They're just from such varied backgrounds with such different reasons for coming here that it just amazes me. This is Tigger. Tigger is in a foster home. Tigger is a dog that one of the earlier tours, there was a young couple on the tour and they were from Lithuania. And as we were going through the building, they let me know that Tigger was an internet sensation in Lithuania. Out of that conversation and that visit, he has his own t-shirt. Oh. There's one that you can get online called The Wonderful World of Tigger. I mean, just strange things can happen. This is Central Bark, hence the skyline of New York. It's used by our physical therapy department. We are dealing with old dogs, and fortunately we're funded well enough that we can do a lot of physical therapy for these guys to make their lives better.
Release the beast. Release the beast. Let's see if it's a one piece today because top half.
You don't want to do the top half?
Oh, did Shelby? You want to wear your top half?
No, I don't want to be embarrassed. All right. All right. There we go.
So I work in the medical department at Old Friends Zina Dog Sanctuary. I am actually head of the physical therapy department. So I do the laser treatment and coordinate all the other treatments within the sanctuary. And for me personally, I no longer just have to find a little corner, you know, wherever I can. We now have an area that is specially designed for the physical therapy.
Well, what they've done is recreated Central Park in here, but with some of our dogs, Sharky, Maxwell, you're gonna recognize Leo's on top of the fountain over there. It's inventory of
Good girl. 1.24. Happy medium.
How long does she normally go for?
She can do 25. Really? The most she's done is 20. She's done 28. That's her most.
Oh, wow.
We also have an underwater treadmill. I mean, it's state of the art and it's all digital. And the water fills into the treadmill. It's fantastic.
Treadmill water therapy, which is awesome for dogs because it's weightless for these old dogs. So when they need to heal or arthritis, it's really great for them.
It also depends on how hard you want to push your dog because a different level of water will either make it easier or harder.
So we have a class 4 laser. It's a modality that we use in our physical therapy department.
The laser therapy, it does all sorts of things actually, but primarily we use it it reduces inflammation and therefore offers pain relief.
It's a way that we can treat discomfort, pain, swelling without having to use medications.
But it also promotes healing, so we can do wounds, post-surgery.
It has actually helped to improve mobility. So dogs that were previously unable to walk, we've seen them with improved function in their legs.
Yeah, so Sweet Pea is literally 2 weeks out of surgery today. And we've been doing laser treatment daily since her surgery because it's really good for wound healing. And as you can see, it's very non-invasive. She enjoys it. She just pretty much relaxes and lets me do my thing. Good girl, Sweet Pea. Where I might get involved with you is once we've got into a comfortable enough place that he trusts us. Well, I hope to be able to get in there and do some laser for him because we can also use the laser to help with skin conditions and what have you. So yeah, I'm very hopeful.
Oh my gosh, he looks so much better. His personality's coming out. You can tell he's a lot more comfy.
He broke my heart because when he was first here, I had put him in my office because I thought he needed to be socialized. And once he got into my office, I realized he really wants people to touch him. You know, he would come over and like rub his head on me, but he wouldn't let me touch him. So he's come a long way from there. Now we can actually, you know, his sores are healing up, so he lets us touch him now. So just kind of balancing, you know, antibiotics and oral, you know, steroids in the right dose. So we're kind of waiting on him to get a little bit more stable on a lower dose of steroids, and then we'll get his ear addressed.
He's a good boy. He has such a good spirit. Yeah. He makes me really happy with his progress. You can just see on his face the relief. He's like a different dog.
This is little girl. She says, I've been through the ringer, but I think everything we need done is all finished now. So she had surgery done on her both of her knees, and she's doing phenomenal. I mean, I don't, if you go back to what she looked like when she first came in, she was super hunched up. I mean, that was how she was born. So, and she's an older dog now, so it's like she's kind of learning to walk on normal knees for the first time. Good job, little girl. Look at you go. Look at you go. She was already on 3 different eye medications in both eyes because she had issues in both eyes, and she was completely blind. She had cataracts, so both of her eyes were removed. And I mean, it sounds horrible, but she couldn't see from them, and she's actually a lot more comfortable without them. So that's healed up nicely. Now she's just going through her rehab and her laser, and she'll be heading into the underwater treadmill eventually. She's super cute. So Nikki, who also has Abner, who's a forever foster, has been taking her home to do some extra physical therapy and stuff with her at home. And she's kind of fallen in love with her other foster. They sleep together and everything, so she may think she's found herself a permanent place to go. Huh.
It wasn't until I lost one of my own non-old friends that I realised I could get my own forever foster. But I thought, having worked at the sanctuary for a number of years, I was like, how on earth am I going to choose out of all these wonderful dogs? So it was just a regular day at work, and I got my laser goggles on. I was lasering one of the dogs in there. And after a few minutes, I felt this cold, wet nose on my cheek. So I took my laser goggles off and looked, and these big, beautiful brown eyes, they literally spoke to me. And I knew then and there that he had chosen me. He was going to be my foster. And those eyes are still speaking to me. Just before Christmas, a dog named Abner found himself living in the medical department because he had some pretty bad health issues. And one day I said to Christine, Dr. Bechard, I think I'd like to take him home and just see if I can help him. So I took him home for the weekend, but after about 10 hours, I thought to myself, how am I going to take this dog back? I love him. A couple of weeks later, I was heading towards a decade birthday, and my husband said to me, Nick, what do you like for your birthday? And where most people might say a new pair of shoes or a nice bottle of perfume, I said, I'd like Abner. And he just rolled his eyes at me because he knows what I'm like with these dogs. So along comes my birthday, and my family sit me down to give me a couple of birthday cards and actually handed me this. The Dench family's growing by 4 feet. And then I heard the door open, and in walks Abner wearing a big gold bow. I can honestly say that's the best birthday present I've had in years. So they don't really do much playing in the house, but when I get them in the back of my Jeep and take them to the local park, they will turn into completely different dogs. My husband and I have to stand ready to catch them. They're ready to just leap out and go. And it's just lovely to see that. Most days, I kid you not, either me or my husband are asked, where did you get that wonderful puppy? And when I tell people that he came from a senior dog sanctuary, they are just blown away. I just really try to just enjoy every moment I've got with these guys. I love the seniors. I've always had a special thing for the seniors and the special needs. And I wish every state in America had an Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary.
This is our grooming area. We do have a groomer on staff. With 100 and some dogs here, we can keep her busy. Our fosters can also make appointments with Stephanie to bring their old friend in and have her groom the dog at no cost.
I do nail trims, I clean ears. A lot of dogs have really damaged coats or a lot of mats when they first come in, so a lot of shave downs. There's dogs that get medicated baths because they have like really bad coats whenever they first come in, so they have to get regular medicated baths, and I do that as well. Usually dogs like Caesar, very fluffy dogs, or dogs that need frequent haircuts, I do kind of every 3 weeks. And then other dogs I try to do every 6 weeks. Accidents always happen, especially for the compassionate care dogs. You know, they have mobility issues. Mabel has 3 legs. She can't really stand up on her own to go potty. So a lot of the times when I first come in the morning, I'll just go check on them because they will need regular baths. So there's really no point to putting them on a schedule. I see them very often. Yeah.
As you notice walking around the building, you really don't know that there's 100 and some dogs in the building. When you walked into the other building, you knew there were 100 and some dogs in the building. So these are 3 of our dogs that have dog aggression, but all 3 of these are at a point where they could go to a foster home. Bella's the one on the far end. She's the newest one to this group. Miss Peggy does not like dogs. She is also deaf. She is one of the first dogs that new volunteers get to go and visit with because anybody could walk in that room, pet her, and she'd be fine. Just don't put your cell phone down. She has eaten a couple of them. I don't know why, but she is a character. She's also our cover girl. She loves to put sunglasses on, and I don't know, maybe the light bothers her eye or something. So there are 3 girls that work with these 10 rooms of dog-aggressive dogs, nobody else. And they have made huge progress with Archie in the couple of months that we've been here. Archie wasn't in his room because he's out here. He had food bowl aggression in the other building, and the staff have been able to work with him, and he no longer has food bowl aggression.
Archie's completed a 5-stage food bowl training program with us, and Archie's really intelligent and he's a really quick learner as well. So stage 1 of the food training program is really just familiarizing, getting the dog to be comfortable with occupying a space with you while he's eating. And day by day we move closer, and eventually his tail starts to wag when he hears us talk. So we're ready for stage 2. Stage 2 is staying in that same spot, you know, keep your distance, but toss pieces of food in his food bowl while he's eating, like from your distance or treats or whatever. We use pieces of food. So then you inch a little bit closer and inch a little bit closer. And when you see that positive reaction, stage 3 is walking up to him while he's eating, talking to him, and then dropping food in his bowl and then walking away. Stage 4 would be standing next to them while they're eating and dropping something in their bowl, not bending down, just standing up. And then stage 5 would be like bending down, like you've got your hands by their face and you're really getting on their level and testing their limits to make sure that they're okay with it.
Since I work with the ISO dogs, for example, Miss Bella here, she loves people, but she can never go to a room with 10, 15 dogs. It just stresses her out. So I work with dogs like her, and some dogs who are people aggressive. So we have special plans with every single one of our dogs to help them get over their people aggression, dog aggression, food bowl aggression. There are currently only 3 of us. Over in Barclay Suites, we have what you call a forever project dog. So what we would do is, for example, Bella is one of my forever project dogs, so I'm gonna keep trying to get her used to other people and other dogs until she gets a home.
Most of the time when the dogs get fostered, we have a whole waterworks session because it's bittersweet. We want to see them go and get homes, but we also love them and we want them to, live the best life they could possibly live. Like, I'm pretty sure if anybody sees Hank and they're just like, oh, he doesn't look like he could do much, or he probably doesn't have that much life left in him, but he most definitely does. And I'm sure he can make a family pretty happy soon whenever he gets fostered out of here.
She doesn't act like she's 10. She runs around, she plays.
He is an old one, but he can run for days and jump and play all he wants.
And they're just as much fun as a puppy, except
They
they
are.
stop. They don't go for 8 hours. They might go for 15 minutes.
You got to remember they're old dogs. They get their bursts of energy and run around, and then they just want to relax. That's pretty much what I do too, so it's great.
I swear they appreciate the being rescued, being able to be in a home again.
Always give a dog a chance, regardless of age. Age doesn't define a dog at all.
I love what they do here. I love senior dogs, and honestly, my financial situation is not the greatest, and this way I don't have to pay for the vet care, because I've had dogs that got old and I know how that can run. So this is just perfect for me. I have a friend who told me about it, and I'm just, so glad she did.
Cool. You're excited?
Oh my gosh, beyond. Oh, my whole neighborhood's waiting to meet them,
They might see a dog on the website. They might see a dog on our public Facebook page. They might find out about us in many ways. We do want fosters to know what we expect from them going in, that it's not a typical walk in, choose a dog, leave, we never see them again. They're coming back for meds, they're coming back for vet visits, they're coming by to pick up food.
The dog, they like you to be within 100 miles. We don't just hand a dog to anyone. We do home visits. There's a series of questions. We check references. So we're making sure that these dogs are set up for success.
Because once they're out of that 100-mile range, the chances of that dog coming back to us should something go awry with the arrangement is a lot slimmer. And we do want to know that they're in a good place for the rest of their life.
I think it's a journey for everybody. We invest so much in these dogs before they're ready to go into foster that they really are a member of the family here. And so we make sure that everything's going to be safe for the dog that they choose. And I sit on that foster committee. And so I feel like, when they choose a dog, I'm handing over one of our babies to their care. And my goal is to be here for the fosters so that when they have something going on that they're worried about, me or my support staff just want to be there and let them know we don't care what time it is. We would rather you call us at 2:00 in the morning and ask us, is this okay, than have something fall through the cracks. Because when they foster, they become a member of the Old Friends family, and we want to take care of them like family.
I've always wanted to go get a dog that maybe not everyone else wants. Everyone wants to go get puppies. If there's a puppy in a kennel, that puppy will probably be gone in a couple days. These dogs end up sitting around for a lot longer than they should. And so I like the fact of bringing some of those dogs into my house and giving them a good home.
We have an online application, which is very helpful. It provides a lot of information about the physical environment of the home.
I had to do interviews, and I had to walk around with my phone and show them the house and the property and everything.
Often someone has fallen in love with a face, and they don't realize the whole package that goes with that face may not be compatible with the home they can provide. No fault of theirs, just if you have an incredibly arthritic dog and you have to walk up 2 flights of stairs to your apartment, that's not gonna work. So we get to see all of that. So we decide yay or nay. It's almost always yay. And then I call them and say, you're approved for this dog. When can we do gotcha day? The vet goes over their diet, how to administer the meds, and then they take a picture for the newsletter, and they go on their way, and we do stay in touch with them and make sure things are going well.
There you are. Hi, girls. Perfect. Oh,
got you, girls.
Some dogs, I don't understand why they don't get the attention that you believe they would get. And Sadie and Sally have been here almost a year, and they are probably the most gentle bonded pair that I can think of that we've ever had. And just so delightful. And they're going home for Christmas. Yay!
We're going home. We're taking Sally. Let's go home.
Bye, girl.
Good girl.
Well, we've spent a lot of time with them the last couple of weeks. We've taken them to so many different places.
They've gone to events. They've been all over.
And Barbara's so perfect with it.
I know. I was gonna say, there's a right person for every dog out there. It's just getting them to find one another.
Exactly, and we did.
Email is great, social media is great. We have the family page, and they post on there their photos, their updates.
I love the fact, too, that we have a Facebook page for the families. There's people, humans, that I know the names of their dogs, but I would not recognize them if they came up to me on the street. So it really is like a family.
Most of the time, it really works out well. We do everything we can to try to help them work through the adjustment issues. But sometimes they're just like, wow, this is just more work. I just can't do it. I just cannot give this dog what it needs. Then we, of course, allow them to bring that dog back. That's part of our program. Those worries are taken away from the foster.
Go, buddy, go. One question that a lot of people often ask is, do you know where this dog came from? And 99% of the time, we don't have an answer for that. We don't know. You know, they came from a shelter.
They've been through a lot of changes in a very short time by the time they get from animal control to us. These dogs come in, they have a lot of baggage, but mercifully, they don't carry it like we do for the most part. They're very resilient. They live in the moment. We want to make the moments count, and we want people to share in that with us.
I go volunteer all the time, like every week. Then I look at the dogs, I feel bad. Then I decide to bring to my house.
And you have?
6.
All from old friends?
All from old friends. Over the year, I think 17 dogs since 2014. I can handle up to 10 dogs, but depends how I feel. 6 is, I guess, enough right now. I like the senior dog a lot. This one's Charlie. Charlie is an original cabin dog. Then this is Snow. Since I got Snow, I like Chihuahua a lot, so I picked Lincoln Parker. He's the oldest dog. He's 17 years old. Annabelle is a funny dog. I like her too. I like everybody. This one's Chloe. I just picked up her last week. And that one is Smoothie. Smoothie I picked up 2 weeks ago. They play a lot. They like the next door dog. They run around the fence, then bark. They're like puppy. Michael, Zina, they're brilliant. They think a senior dog need help, then they decide to make all the friends. They have another life with them, so it's really nice. Yeah, I have so many dogs and I have so many ashes. I think 13 is here. Without them, none of my dog would survive.
He's the biggest one I've ever had.
There's Forrest coming home.
Forrest. I love my Forrest. He's got a snood to wear. He's going to be the most famous basset hound anywhere because he's Forrest.
Well, I found his picture, and I noticed right off from the start that he, he's got an issue here going on that he doesn't seem to mind. His eyes were removed, I think, within the last year.
For glaucoma.
Yeah, glaucoma, and I fell in love with him.
Before he came to Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary, a family in Nashville found him, and they
On the side of the road.
On the side of the road, yeah.
And God bless the Old Friends Sanctuary. They took him. We fell in love instantly. Susan from Old Friends called me, and we went and got him. And everybody was teary-eyed. We were joyful, but the staff was teary-eyed. And even though they didn't have him very long, they all had just fallen in love with him.
Forrest!
It's a foster situation. We're supposed to love them and care for them until they pass on like we all do. But we're also supposed to keep up with Old Friends medically, and I give them reports all the time. I'm always asking the medical staff to refill his pills, like his heartworm, and they also supply food through the vet.
It's really like a no-brainer program. To me, it was just kind of like, okay, they take care of all the reasons why I wasn't ready for a dog. I didn't have the financial capacity at the time to take care of a dog, much less a senior dog, and they take care of all of that.
These are our kids. We don't have human kids, you know.
Right.
When you've got aging babies, they require more attention and more medical attention.
It's like, hey, we're taking in a senior dog. There is that fear of, oh man, he's meds and there's going to be issues. There's going to be arthritis. They take care of all of that.
So to know that they're always there to back us up is tremendous. It's tremendous.
That's the biggest things I can have, like 6 dogs. If I buy own dogs and they didn't pay, I can't afford this much the dog.
When I found out that all they needed from us was love and attentiveness to his needs, we were right there in line. So
really, all Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary is asking is, hey, come love a senior dog. Take me home. You know, give me a great life. Don't worry about what my past was. We don't know it. Just their future is amazing. Come here. Come here, little boy. Oh, such a good boy. Say hi. Say hi. This little guy came in and I just fell in love with him. He had such a great personality and such a zest for life. And there you go, there's some of his personality. And I decided he needed to be mine and brought him home, and I've had him for just about 8 months now. He is blind. His retinas are completely detached. So he is completely blind. He can't see light or anything. And it's remarkable what a blind dog can... he does not know he is blind, do you? No, he does not. Okay, let's do it. You ready? Let's do this. Ready? Oh, good job. I wouldn't call it fetch because he never brings it back. It's more like find. And I discovered if I get these particular squeaky bouncy balls and I hit it on the ground really hard the first time, and then as it bounces along, he can hear it and follow it. And it's fascinating. He doesn't get it every time, but there's just something about seeing a blind dog actually find a ball that you threw for them. Ready? Okay. Good boy!
So we were expecting a dog that was going to be, bumping into everything. And he does better than I do at 70. I mean, he can run and play, and he's an amazing dog.
Oh, yeah.
The first or second day that he was here, now we have a small yard, but it's very long. I watched him find the borderline, which is the fence, and he went all around the yard, a couple of times in the back and stuff, and then he had it.
When I brought him home, put him on a leash and spent about an hour and walked him the perimeter of our backyard and showed him where the doggy door was. And within that hour, he knew everywhere he could go. And it was unbelievable. You would never have known that he was blind.
He's taught me a lot because it just shows that anyone who has a disability, that there are ways to overcome. And if a, 12, 13-year-old Basset can do this in a matter of hours, days here, I thought he would really be something that we would have to watch all the time. But he requires no watching, really. I mean, we do because we love him, but he's amazing. He's an inspiration.
He has no limitations. I am in awe of him. I have lived in this house for 15 years and close my eyes sometimes just to see how he does it. And I still run into things, and I know this place, you know, I've been here for forever.
Frida! Frida, come here! Come here! Oh, I love Frida! Hi, Frida! Oh, me so good! Frida, Frida, Frida! Frida, Frida! Hello, little girl! Hello, little girl!
The photographs that are currently at the new sanctuary, the pavilions, those were images that I had shot the first time Zina had allowed me to come in and take pictures. I've started to learn what it is that people that follow us, what it is they really like. And we have learned they don't really care to see people in the pictures. And they definitely like pictures where you actually, when you look at it, you feel like you're interacting with that dog. There are some photographs I'll take that I think, oh my God, that's a great picture. I was really happy with it. But as far as social media goes, it might not be as popular as something else. One was of Big Ben, his big black dog we have there now. And it was an action shot of him catching a stick in the air. And it probably had 7,000 engagements, which is still spectacular. I'll take that any day. But then I post a picture of Roscoe, who sadly we recently lost. But with him just looking up at me with these eyes of just, you know, take me home. And I think that one had 15,000 engagements. So it's very interesting to find out what pulls at people's heartstrings.
And those heartfelt stories that tug at your heartstrings. Rex getting his wheels, being able to run again for the first time since he was like 1 or 2 years old. He's probably 10 to 12 now. We didn't have to use any words, with that. That told the story right there, and you learn the dogs that like to be photographed, and you learn the dogs that don't like to be photographed.
Knight, he hates me.
Knight is a blind pit bull that's very selective of people. He's one of the most photogenic dogs that we have, but he hates shutter sounds.
He hates the sound of my camera. He cannot stand it.
He's blind. He can hear a shutter, and when he hears it, it just sets him off. He's just like he's just...
So I've gotten some of the best pictures I've ever gotten of him now that I can shoot right through the glass. He's not really aware that I'm there, and then now we can get pictures of him out there as well. Mac obviously always is, a rock star. Everyone loves pictures of Mac. I can always tell when we have new followers on Facebook or Instagram because they'll make a comment about, it would be great if somebody would trim his bangs so he could see. And then our dedicated followers will shoot right back to them that he has no eyes so he can rock any hairstyle he wants.
I think Mac's human, really. I really do. He's just really great. He's really awesome.
I love photographing Forrest because of his ears. He's got those amazingly great ears that just almost hit the ground. He's a hound dog, and he moves at the pace of a snail. He is just a rock star. People love him.
There's just something magical about Forrest, and that's why we're here with him, or he's here with us.
I remember, going there and, meeting him and taking him home and seeing what a response he was getting from everybody, and just realizing how lucky we were to, get him.
He's just a celebrity, and I can see why. I mean, look at this face. Look at these ears. He's perfect.
And he's so sweet, yeah.
You fall in love with them for different reasons. I mean, one might be you fall in love with them because, oh my God, that dog has more attitude than any person I've ever met. Or, oh my God, that's the cutest little thing I've ever seen. And you get to know them more. We'll get a new dog in, and I'll get a picture when they first come in. But then over time, I spend more time with each of them, so I learn a little bit more about what each of them likes to do, doesn't like to do. I'm really excited to see who likes the splash pad at the pavilions. I can't wait for that. If you spend enough time with them and you sort of learn their personalities, they're all like puppies. And so to go to work there and spend my day with, I believe, 97 dogs currently, and photograph them all day long doing anything and everything, there's nothing better.
We get to be their voice, and we have thumbs because they don't, so we get to do the social media for them. So the more stories that we can tell, the better mirror that we can be as a reflection of this place for the outside.
And I've never met a dog that asked me to make them 15 pounds lighter. So that in itself is brilliant. They don't care how they look. They're just happy. It's all good.
Show them your little tongue. Show them your little tongue. Beautiful. Hi, Daddy. Where is it? Where is it?
I was sold the minute I walked in. You know, it was so great to see all the wonderful things that they were doing here. And not only that, but the passion that you see from everybody that walks in, like the volunteers, the fosters, the staff. And immediately it was just like, this is something that I want to be a part of. So I'm an events coordinator, and so that's just kind of planning events and coordinating either events here at the center or outside to just kind of bring awareness and get the dog's visibility and those kinds of things. So for example, we're talking about doing like a senior dog yoga class, just like those kinds of things to get people's attention and kind of show them what we're doing here. We don't do any advertising, any marketing for volunteers. It's just everybody who finds us and is interested in volunteering. So I think in total we have about 250 volunteers trained and signed up, but we get about 70 to 80 or so volunteers on a monthly basis that are like actively coming in. So we're constantly growing, which is really exciting. So we have a couple different kind of volunteer opportunities depending on what the people like, but there's walking, so people can come in and just, I mean, we have 100 or so dogs here, so definitely those volunteers just come in and they take the dogs. We have a trail, so they're able to go walk them around, so people can come in, walk those dogs, take care of those dogs, keep the space clean. We also have laundry. Surprisingly, I think laundry is what people sign up for the most. Not necessarily because people want it, but because there's a need. It backs up very quickly, as you can imagine, with 100 dogs, how often we have to wash the beds, and it's not a pleasant job always. But everybody here just cares about making sure we're functioning and doing the best that we can for these dogs. We also have something called socialization, which is for dogs who are a little bit dog selective or dog aggressive, who are kept separately. So people can come in and socialize with these dogs and kind of get them that interaction and those kinds of things. So all those are the different opportunities, and people come in and just do one. Sometimes they can come in and do multiple. And that just like makes me so excited about all the possibility for the lives that we get to touch and the dogs that we get to help and the awareness that we get to spread, and like hopefully will trickle down into people doing their own version of this, or, you know, being more considerate about taking in a senior dog. And that has just been like my favorite part to see. The way that it impacts equally, like you see the dogs and their tails wagging, but then you see the people leave with this huge smile on their face, which is why we see so many people return. And so that would be, I think, the best part.
Two or 3 days after her eye surgery, Dr. Christine asked me to come in and laser. So I went in there to laser both the incision sites, and I just looked at this dog on the operating table and thought, just the idea that she'd been through so much in those 2 days, to have both your knees repaired, both your eyes removed, just literally just got me immediately. So I literally scooped her off the operating table and brought her home. My grandson happened to be here when I got back, and I was thinking, this is going to shock him. But he just looked at her for a while and said, Sweepy got no eyes. He needed no other explanation. He just accepted her completely as is, and the two of them are now really bonded. It took about 24 hours for me to realise that she wasn't going back. She became my forever foster after that time. So when I first brought her home, she was fine for 4 nights. Night 5, she just would not settle. Came downstairs, couldn't work out what she wanted. So I just put her on the floor, and she knew exactly what she wanted. She walked over to where Abner sleeps, curled up on a blanket, curled up with him, and that's exactly what she did. She stayed asleep with him all night, and that's where she sleeps now. And they're an unlikely couple, but they are very, very bonded with each other. I also have to admit that I have ordered her a custom-made dress for Christmas. It's pea green, it's stunning.
How much would it cost for her to
have gone through all the surgeries and procedures that she's going through right now?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what, but it would be in the thousands without a doubt. And that's why All Friends is just comes into its own right there, because there's no way that many people or organisations could to foot that kind of bill. So she's one lucky sweet pea.
He has gotten so much better. I mean, from weight to his skin. I mean, even his spirit, you can tell he feels better.
You just need to take care of your ears now, buddy.
So when he first came in, we hadn't worked him up yet, and he was just covered in scabs and sores, and he didn't even want to get up, and he didn't want to move. His ears just were so infected that to touch them would make him snap at us. But you could see that there was something in him, like he wanted to be better, and he wanted people to be around him, and we were trying to manage his pain as best we could.
So he kind of actually chose me, and it sounds cheesy, but it's really true. It was just, I think, my understanding of what he kind of needed, and he was drawn to just, I guess, my patience. I went very slow with him. So day by day, I just kind of, my love for him grew, and his love for me grew pretty quickly. And sorry, it was really one day I was sitting in one of the offices, and he walked by. He was going through for a potty break or something, and he walked by, and he just like fell over into my lap, and then looked up at me and gave me a kiss. And from that day on, we've been inseparable.
I think you can see it in their eyes when they don't have life left in them anymore, and I never saw that in Hugh. And to see him and the relationship that he has built with Shay is heartwarming. We felt like, okay, at this point we really need to address what's going on with his ears. So we got him evaluated by a surgeon. The decision was made that both his ear and his ear canal needed to be removed on the left side. Those were end-stage ear disease that were so painful that, for comfort's sake, it would be best to have that ear removed. And the surgeon had a big, long conversation with me, and, the risks were pretty high, and did we want to go ahead with this? And I said, it's either this or euthanasia, and he's gone through way too much at this point to do that, so we're gonna go for it. He had some complications under anesthesia. They actually, in the middle of the procedure, rushed out to contact an anesthesiologist and to ask, what can we do? The anesthesiologist talked them through what to do. He made it through the procedure, and then he came back here afterwards.
And so we got through the first surgery, and after that, it was like he completely regressed. And so I would come in to work about like an hour early or so. I would just lay there with him before I would clock in for about an hour, and I wouldn't touch him too much unless he wanted me to. And I just let him know that, even though he's in pain and he may snap on me, that I wasn't going anywhere. So once he figured out that I was sticking around, it was, we grew closer, and then he wasn't doing very well here. I think we were kind of reevaluating quality of life again.
And all along the way, every time something would happen to him, I'm like, am I doing the right thing for this dog? Is there gonna be something happy at the end of this rainbow for him? Because I don't want him to go through all of this, just for us to end up euthanizing him.
I was like, well, he seems to do better on the days that I'm here to do his meds and stuff. He is a little more himself, the Hugh that I know. And so I was like, you know what, let me just take him home and do what I can. And so I made him a room, so I set it up for him, and he was still very painful. But we got him there, and the first night, you could just tell he knew something was different. It was pretty neat because he kind of surrendered to me. I'll never forget, he dug his head into my neck and just took a big old sniff for the first time at home, and then I knew he was home, and then yeah, but from then on, I just kind of knew it was a big part of my job to get him better.
And so we still had one ear
that we were not sure, can we address this? Because that year was really bad too. And I had another conversation with the surgeon and asked him what his comfort level was, with what happened under anesthesia the first time. And so we scheduled his surgery when the anesthesiologist was going to be there to monitor him completely. So last week he had that second surgery and it went much more smoothly. He recovered really well.
It was like nothing happened his second year. He just bebopped out the doors and was like, all right, I'm ready. It just shows his strength and how far he's come. Not only from what we can see, but on the inside too. He's a fighter.
My name is Barbara Muncie, and I am a Forever Foster for Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary. I've been a Forever Foster since 2013, so that's 8 years now. And I am on my 7th and 8th Forever Fosters. Zina and Dr. Christine both told me, we've got a couple that you need to meet. That's when I got to meet Trixie and Buttons. Their story is a fun one because they're a mother and son bonded pair. Trixie is the mother and Buttons is her son.
A lot of bonded pairs don't get adopted because people don't want 2 dogs, but we're the more the merrier. If you have room for 1 dog, you have room for 2.
I was happy about it. Yeah, more dogs. 2? All right, we win.
When I was volunteering, I was going and visiting with all the dogs in the little dog halls. And he just, when you pet him, he will not let you stop. And I just fell in love with him. And and they told me that they were a bonded pair. So I was like, well, I told him about them. He's like, bring them home. You wouldn't even know she was blind when we're walking.
She has figured out this place pretty quick. She jumps on the couch just like it's nothing, gets down like it's nothing. She practically runs.
Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't slow her down one bit.
A lady was helping them get to Old Friends, and they spent the night in a local hotel. Buttons got spooked and ran away. So the next day they took Trixie to Old Friends, and that she was very sad, but they put the flyers out. They had people searching for him. Somewhere along the way during his time out, he got hit by a car probably because he had a dislocated hip when they did catch him. But that Saturday, he got caught and he was reunited with his mom, and it was the day before Mother's Day. So then I brought them home. They've been a good addition to the family. It's been a year, and I still feel like we're getting to know each other. You're a good boy. Seniors are so good at making you stop and sit and just realize there is more important things out there. Life would be too quiet if I didn't have a dog in the house, at least one, and I don't ever want to go down to none, so I've got to at least have 2.
They are pretty close, like brother and sister.
And it's funny when they play, he plays in a way that she can find him. Like dogs, normally be running around more. He'll stay where she can find him and touch him, and they'll play tug of war with their toys. But he'll make sure that she can get to it. There's always puppy in them, and they may not be able to play as long as when they're little bitty, but Riker here is out catching birds. I mean,
yeah. I like the energy of the senior dogs. I don't know, there's just something in their eyes, and they're just special. Old Friends, when I came out to visit them, it was just like so heartwarming that they took on all these older senior dogs, and Peaches with the sad eyes totally won me over with the 3 dogs that I met while I was there. So I took her home. It was, the imperfection of Peaches, her sad eyes, her unique skin, which I really love, the freckles. There was a picture of her when she first arrived, and her skin was all chapped. She barely had any fur, only the fur on her head. I think that's why they called her Peaches, because she only had peach fuzz. Through medication and giving her a special diet, her skin has become really healthy, and she has a lot of life, and she has a lot of spunk, so she can be very active. She loves chasing squeaky balls, and she gets very excited when there's a squeaky ball around. She came in really bad shape, and she's really beautiful. Her skin and everything has become quite beautiful and healthy, and she's become quite healthy. And it's all through the help of old friends taking her in and taking the time to give her treatment and figure out what she needed to get better.
So I went online looking for adoption places for dogs, and I came across Old Friends, and it had the explanation of what Old Friends represented. And I said, now I like that. 30 minutes, 45 minutes, I came up on Gertie. When she came on the frame, I said, that's it. That's my dog. So I called them and I said, I would like to get Gertie Birdie. And they said, well, there's a process that you have to go through. I said, that's fine with me. So I went through the process, and then I called back and they said, well, somebody else beat you to her. Their application was dated before you. And I was heartbroken because I knew this was my dog. So about 3 days later, they called me back. They said, Miss Hall, Gertie's back. It didn't work out. I said, whoopee!
When I went and did a tour of the facility, I was like, this is amazing. I really just fell in love with their mission and everything. And I went back a couple weeks later and met Pepper and knew pretty much right away, but they had a couple of different dogs for me to pick from. And I was like, I don't want to tell these other dogs no. My roommate came with me to when we first met Pepper, and then we both got back and called Susan at Old Friends immediately. It was like, can we come back and get Pepper? We were like, we should have taken her home right then. So I went back a couple of days later, and now she's here.
I just love her. I became ill 3 months after I got her, and I fell, and I couldn't get up. I managed to get my phone, which was in my pocket, to call my daughter. And Gertie came up and lay down beside me, and she just stayed there with me until my daughter came. You know that's precious. You can't get some people to do that. You know that. So I think this is a worthy cause because dogs can be your best friend. They are your best friend. One thing about a dog is if you treat it right, they're always glad to see you. When you come in the door, they're glad to see you.
Hey, Pepper. She's so friendly, whenever she meets people, and she's just kind of very curious and kind of shy. She really likes to roller skate with me. I roller skate, and she loves when I will walk her as I'm skating. It's the most fun she has.
I would say that she spends about, let's say 70% napping. And she snores like a lumberjack. She said, I'm gonna get my hours. She does a lot of sleeping. She wants to go sleep now. At other times, she'll go out in the backyard and she'll be running. My granddaughter said, Mama, I can't catch this dog. I said, I don't believe that. She said, come and look. And she was gone. So I guess she gets her energy in spurts, like me.
I mean, I definitely think Old Friends' mission is great. I think it's kind of hard to watch that process of her getting older and kind of knowing she's kind of hitting the end of her time. So it's really great to know that they have this whole dedicated facility and mission to making sure that older dogs can have everything they need.
You know, Zina and Michael, they are definitely saints.
They're living my dream life. If I could do that, I would. I feel like they would spend their last penny to make sure these dogs are taken care of.
I'm awestruck by what they've been able to do. It's very inspiring. We have talked about we would like to be able to follow in their footsteps someday. I honestly can't see something as big as they've done, but would like to actually have our own little sanctuary to bring in old dogs in need.
They're just amazing, selfless people.
There's a lot of senior dogs whose lives are much better thanks to them.
So I think it was about June time, Reggie just out of the blue stopped eating, and we tried just about everything, just tempting him with all sorts of food, and nothing worked. He went to the sanctuary a couple of times so Dr. Christine could look at him, and she couldn't locate anything particularly wrong with him. It was almost like he was so stoic, he just didn't want us to know, but I knew something was going on with him. We took him to NVS and he had an ultrasound and they confirmed he had a mass on his spleen. Coincidentally, Abner also stopped eating. Well, unbelievably, it turned out he also had a mass on his spleen. So there I am with 2 dogs with the same issue. So one was scheduled to have surgery on the Monday, Abner, and then Reggie was scheduled to have his spleen removed on Tuesday. And the one I was most worried about was Abner because he has so many other medical issues going on. Well, he had his on the Monday, bounced back like a champ. Reggie went in on the Tuesday and they actually called Dr. Bechard while they were under anaesthetic with him and said that it looked cancerous and it looked like it had spread quite extensively and they were considering not waking him up from the surgery. But Dr. Bechard said no, he has a loving family at home that will want to say goodbye to him, which is what we did. And he came back here and we had him for about another week. He would just lay on his bed with his teddy bear. And again, it was his eyes that told me he was ready. One day he just looked at me and I just knew he was ready to go. And so we actually got a vet to come here and we put him to sleep in the garden with the family around him.
There's a poem named The Rainbow Bridge that's been floating around for years and years and years that portrays a dog's passing as going to the Rainbow Bridge, and the dogs wait at the Rainbow Bridge until their people come along and they all cross the Rainbow Bridge together.
Which dog do you miss the most?
Cherie was this... Cherie. She was great. Little tiny Maltese, about this small, blind, diabetic, the whole bit.
Oh, she had a lot of attitude.
But Gracie really hit her hard.
Yeah, she was my sidekick. So.
Yeah. So, but there's so many that we just loved.
Our whole philosophy is to focus on what we can do for the dogs while they're alive. And we accept the fact that they're going to pass away, and we're sad when they pass away, but we focus on what we can do for them while they're with us.
There was someone at the sanctuary that told me this. They said, you're giving them a soft place to land. I mean, they've had a really hard life, most of them. That's the reason they've ended up in the pound in the shape they're in. And just to know that we've given them love at the end of their life, they may have not had their whole lives.
Our senior dogs aren't disposable. They are a treasure, and we are lucky to have them around. These guys have all the personality and more. They're just such a blessing. People miss out on the best part of their lives. They really do.
The senior dogs, they don't worry about the past and they don't think about the future. They live in the moment. These dogs have got mindfulness down to a fine art, and we could learn so much from them. I can't imagine a time in my life when I won't get another senior.
I don't care if we have them for a month or 10 years. It's not the quantity, it's the quality.
The greatest thing about this is we can go with the flow and go with where our mind tells us is the right place for the flow to go.
Exactly.
So our next project is Flo's Front Porch, which is part of our Happy Even After program, which will be a neighborhood dedicated to dogs whose owners have passed before they have, so that they can live in a home-like environment for the rest of their life.
And it's just down the block here, so it'll be like an extension of Old Friends, only it's its own program.
Right now, we're looking at 11 cottages with 3 to 5 dogs per cottage.
Talk about unique. That will definitely be one of a kind in the entire world. We're building a neighborhood for dogs.
I think Michael and Zina are phenomenal, and I love their forward thinking. Knowing how innovative and imaginative they are with this, I think possibilities are endless, really. Nothing seems to get them down. They just keep on pushing and really deserve the success they've had.
Michael's and my job right now is to build a team that can take over beyond us. Since we've started this, we don't want this to end with us. So we've been putting together what we think is a fabulous team of people that can move on beyond us.
It takes an army to make this happen, but everybody is fully invested, and I think that's what makes it amazing. I'm just one piece of the puzzle. The staff that's here, every one of them is so crucial to the role that they play. The place wouldn't run without them.
It's indescribable, really. I mean, it comes to a point where it's not a job anymore. I mean, we're so invested.
I love them. You know, we have a great working relationship with the people here.
It's just like a big family, you know? Everybody knows everybody. We're all here to love each other and love these dogs.
This is a dream, an absolute dream.
I love coming to work.
Here, it is amazing to come to work every day and be inspired.
Here, I literally wake up every morning. I'm excited to come to work, and I know that I'm doing good and that we're helping these dogs find homes.
I feel like every single person that works here, we all have this common goal of giving these dogs the best life that we can. And Michael and Zina just made that possible.
It's amazing. I'm really very proud when people ask me what I do. They almost always have heard of us when I say it, but I'm thrilled to be part of the team. It's a great honor.
To work for a place like this, you would have to come to Tennessee and work here. I mean, there's no place like it.
It's a dream fulfilled is really what it is. I mean, who would have ever thought that a few dogs in your backyard would turn into something that's unmatched in the entire world?
What a handsome boy.
Hugh just is an amazing dog, and he has been an emotional roller coaster for the medical department. I think pretty much everybody in this medical department has cried, and I have agonized over him. But in the end, I think we did what was right for him, because to see the relationship he has with her and how happy he is, it's just amazing to see where he's at. Yeah, he's the reason I do what I do every day. I hope people will look beyond the fact that he doesn't have ears and see what how perfect he really is right now.
I mean, this kind of stuff wouldn't happen without this facility, without, the donations and being able to give the medical help that they need. And it's pretty incredible. It's like our little heaven. I'll never forget the look of that she had given me of just, we might lose him. And I just had this feeling, I'm a Christian, and I just started praying, and I was like, God, I need this. And I probably sounded pretty selfish, but I just begged him. I was like, this dog has to make it. And he did, and he saved me just as much as, I helped him, so.
The thing that's been cool about this is I was in corporate America for years, and then we went into retail. But there's a limit. The sky's not the limit there. You have to stay within the franchise rules. This has been great because
No limits.
there's no limits. We can do what's right. We can do what feels right. We can do what works. There's nobody telling us you can't do that. He tries to tell me you can't do that, but there's nobody to say, no, you can't do that. I'm like the dogs. I go day to day. I just plow further along. And I think that's how I did it. I never had a vision like this. I think just having our home be a sanctuary was all I thought of in the beginning.
And we never changed our mission, though. We knew we wanted to save senior dogs.
Absolutely. And that's something that we always remind ourselves, is that we are here for the dogs. And everything we do is to make the lives better of senior dogs.
In 5 years, I hope to be retired a little bit, sitting there on a beach in Malibu or something with dogs, of course. But no, I'll never retire. I'll be here. I enjoy it too much. It's not work. It's not work at all.
I'm living my dream. There's no doubt about it. I can't imagine anywhere else I'd want to be right now.
Another glass of whiskey cold, sitting by the telephone alone. I only drink 'cause legends do. I'll write another song soon when the pain subdues. Then you saw me crying on the couch. You lay down next to me with your tongue hanging out. Everybody needs a friend like that to scratch between the years when things get bad. Every runt of the pack has always got your back, and everybody needs a friend like that. Everybody needs a friend like that. Everybody's getting sick of the news and the way they're telling it. No, my friend doesn't say a word. I can listen to any kind of hurt, even the worst. When you saw me laying by the door, you licked my fears and tears to the floor. Everybody needs a friend like that to scratch between the years when things get bad. Every runt of the pack has always got your back, and everybody needs a friend like that. Everybody needs a friend like that. When the storm hits like 1,000 bricks, when the world we know is falling to bits, at least I know there's someone by my side. Everybody needs a friend like that to scratch between the years when things get bad. Every runt of the pack has always got your back.